Okay, so on this short video, I'm going to talk to you about how you manage your new home workers. And this has been a sensitive subject for many, many years. I'm an avid fan of home working. I really do think that there's lots and lots of benefit in home working. But I do appreciate that some employers are very sceptical about home working. But one thing I will say to you before we talk about home working in any detail is, you recruited an individual because you thought they were good at the job. You trust them with your business and the role that they do. Why would you not trust them at home? And just because they're out of sight does not mean to say that they're doing anything wrong. And it doesn't matter if they're putting a load of washing in for 5 minutes, and it doesn't matter if they are taking the dog for a walk at lunchtime, etc. I think what you'll find is that it is a really good opportunity to get rid of the heavy commutes to work, and you will get a lot more productivity out of people that do some form of home working, whether that's all week as they're doing it at the minute, or even whether they're doing it part-time. I know my team work at home for part of the week and they absolutely love it, and I certainly work at home whenever I get the chance, and it's really successful because I find I get absolutely loads done. So just keep a positive mind is the first thing I'll say when you're thinking about home workers. But there's some practical things that you need to think about when people are working from home, and especially during COVID-19 because it's new to so many people. So just some of the basic things to think about. Technology. So for people that are working from home, typically what you may see that they're going to need is a laptop and a mobile phone. So just to be able to do the job effectively, they need a decent laptop and they need a mobile phone. And if you can afford to give them that equipment, then please do so. Like I say, home working works for a lot of people, and if you look into some of the big cities, you'll find some of the big corporates, what they do is they ask people to work at home, say 2 or 3 days a week, and enable them to come into the office, say 2 or 3 days a week. And actually they rent smaller office spaces because they've not got a full workforce in there at any one time. So it enables them to use smaller office spaces. So it is one way of managing your costs, and I think when we come out of COVID-19, I think many businesses are going to be transforming the way they work going forward because they've seen such positivity off the back of home working. So make sure that they've got the appropriate technology, so laptop, mobile phone, anything else that they need to be able to work from home, then please try and accommodate that for them so that they can do it and do it successfully. The other thing I would say is during COVID-19, we're not necessarily as worried. Insurance companies, home insurance companies have relaxed the rules on home working and working from home. But if you decide going forward that you want to do this more on a regular basis, you do need to get your employee to check whether their home insurers covers them for working from home and covers any equipment, etc. that they may have at home that belongs to the business. So just have a think about that if you're thinking about it on a more long-term basis. The other thing I'll say is for people where home working is new to you, think about standards, setting standards and making sure you're setting really good expectations. I'm sat here doing a Zoom and I am working on Zoom most days. But one of the things that I am doing is every morning I'm getting up, I'm having a shower, I'm making myself look presentable before I come downstairs and start work, or what I think is presentable, and before I come downstairs and start work. It's important to do that, especially if people are using the likes of Zoom and Teams and video conferencing. What we don't want to see, anybody doesn't want to see, is somebody sat there in their pyjamas when they're on a Zoom call, or having the breakfast, or vaping or smoking cigarettes. That's another one that people don't seem to forget about. So what people must remember is that if you're going onto Zooms and things like that, they are professional business meetings. So please present yourself and make sure you present yourself in the professional business manner that you would if you were in the office. Now, I'm not saying put a suit and tie on. I'm saying put what you'd normally wear on for work. And even if you're just putting some casual clothing on, just make sure it's smart and it's clean and it's tidy and it's not got soup all down the front. That's the things that are really important. So set some standards in terms of how you want them to work, and behaviours. So make sure that the language that they use, etc., is not dropped because they're not in that business environment all day every day and they're in the home working environment. So just have a think about that. And then there's the other one, and this is a really big one, setting workloads and work-life balance. Now, you know, I need to practice what I preach here, but it is critical that you set workloads for people and people know what they've got to achieve in a day and that they've got some key objectives to make sure that they get through that day. It keeps them focused, it keeps them moving throughout the day, and it stops people from getting easily distracted. But on the other side of it, you've got people, if you don't set workloads or workloads that are, you know, reflective of the hours that they're supposed to be working, then what you will find is people will sit there and still be working at 9 o'clock at night, and that's not good for people's mental well-being. So you've got to get the balance right and make sure that your teams are switching off at the end of a day and not sat on their laptop in the lounge while they're watching Coronation Street or Emmerdale or anything like that. Make sure that you're reinforcing people need to have a work-life balance. It's, you know, it's a beautiful day today, and it's actually, for us, it's a bank holiday. But you know, I'm going to do a couple of hours on these videos, then I'm going to stop and I'm going to spend the day in the garden, because that is something that I need to do for my mental well-being, and you need to encourage that as a manager. You need to encourage that, and an employer, you need to encourage that with the rest of your teams. So the final thing that I'm going to say on home working is communication. Please stay in contact with everybody within your team, whether that's just making calls to them to see if they're all right, having a catch up with them, whether that's daily, every couple of days, Teams meetings, Zoom meetings, bring them together, have, you know, team updates, etc. Please make sure you communicate with people. For people where home working is new to them, it can be extremely isolating, and what we need to make sure is that all of these teams come out of COVID-19 together and as tight as they were when they were all working in an office or in different environments. So it's really important to communicate with your teams. Some of the things that I'm doing just to try and make sure that, you know, my team stay together, because they're all working all across Yorkshire and Lancashire where they live. We're doing team meeting every morning where we just have a very quick business update on what we're all working on. And then we do a quiz twice a week. It's very competitive and it's lots of fun, but it actually is really bringing the team together, and we're really looking forward to the team. And one of the small things that I'm doing is the winner of the quiz, I'm putting a little chocolate bar in an envelope and I'm posting it to them, so they've got something to look forward to when they are the winner of the quiz. It's great fun, it's really light-hearted, but you know, it's keeping my team together really well. The other thing that I'm doing in terms of managing home workers, please remember that they are also quite often trying to manage families behind the scenes as well, and they're trying to homeschool the children and everything. So just be a little bit flexible on the timings that they're working. And again, one of the things that I'm doing, because as a business we are really family orientated, one of the things I'm doing is we've got a team quiz twice a week for my team, but every afternoon at 3:30 we have a children's quiz, and I'm hosting that quiz for the kids of my team members. It lasts half an hour, it's really good fun, but it keeps the kids motivated all day. So we're setting them little challenges to make sure that they get through the day and that they're behaving for the parents that are trying to work, but while they're doing that and they're staying focused, they've got a little treat at the end of the day. At 3:30 we're doing a kids quiz. Really positive, something really small, it costs nothing, but it really does create that sense of team spirit in your team. So they're just a few hints and tips to help you manage your team and manage home workers at this minute in time, which can be a really difficult time for all of them. If you need our help, please get in touch. 01422 897 152.